From starring opposite Mel Gibson in Hollywood blockbusters to high-profile marriages to rock stars, Jim Kerr, Liam Gallagher, since shooting to fame at the age of 4, and my dad loved her in that P advert, Patsy Kensit has spent most of her life in the public eye.
In her brand new autobiography, Absolute Beginner, Patsy reveals her extraordinary story straight from the heart, and she joins us now.
Hi,
and it's lovely to see you. Welcome.
To see you too.
This is the book here, Patsy Kensit, Absolute Beginner.
Yes.
And in the book, you've been very open and honest about everything, really, but in particular about your parents.
Yeah.
And your dad. I want to begin with him because he sounds like a right character. He was nicknamed Jimmy the Dip.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a rapper now. that name, someone's got to copyright that. Yes, but you're right. That was apparently his name. How awful.
But he had a bit of a secret life, really. I mean, he worked. So we think, for the Crays.
Well, he was associates, and Reggie Craze, my brother's godfather. So
there was a definite connection.
But I knew none of. I mean, I knew about the Reggie and everything, but my father also worked with the Richardsons. So, that was a whole area of his life I didn't know.
So why was he called Jimmy the Dip?
Well, I don't know, Phil. He's gone now. Which I would imagine it's for having your being pickpocketed, yes, I would think. But you know what? He was in and out of prison most of my life, but he was my dad.
Of course.
And fraudulent, I really loved him.
But you had to go on the run.
No. Well, yes, probably it was a cruise.
No, but yes, probably.
No, the thing is about all of this, I did Who Do You Think You Are? And I of course, knew certain things, but my brother and I were very, very sheltered from all of that. I mean, when my father went to prison the last time, I think it was for 4 years, we had to say he was in South Africa. And we kept this, I mean, and this is a 13-year-old girl to kind of keep those secrets, but that was their generation.
In the 1970s, he had to leave the country.
He was.
That's what in here. It's a case of sort of jumping on the cross-channel ferry.
I read the book, hadn't I? No, we met him in Paris. That's a bit. I think an elaboration of the truth. He had to go away, and we went on a cruise, and he was saying he was a travel expert, was writing pieces for travel magazines. I remember that much because my laughed after he died, and my mum and I talked about it. Yeah. But it's like I said, it's my dad, and everything in the book. He came from a very, very deprived childhood, and his father, I never knew my paternal grandparents. His father was in prison until he was 7, and the saying, give me a child until they're 7 and I'll show you the man. So he did what he had to do.
Did Reggie Cray write to you when your dad died?
Yes.
What did he say?
He said your dad was a great earner, I think, a good man, and he always dressed well.
Did he?
And did he say something along the lines of, well done, because you've done well yourself?
Yeah, he said something like that, yes. Yes. But we got permission to print because he wrote a lot, and obviously there's the great pictures in the book of my brother's christening, and he's holding him. It's like this big giant hands and this little child. And my mum and dad are they're like that, and you're thinking, no, it couldn't, no. But they're like images from a Martin Scorsese movie. Looking back at my parents, because it really was a generation and a generation ago. We're not talking about. My father was a lot older than my mum.
What about your mum? Because your mum was dogged by ill health, wasn't she?
Her whole life. Yeah. Oh, no, that's a lie. My whole life.
Your whole life.
Yes.
Which was defining, really, the relationship between the two of you. That was a lot of your whole life. She was poorly.
Well, I was taken to say goodbye to her when I was 4. I remember that distinctly. And I remember doing The Great Gatsby. Those two things are very clear in my mind. And I think that my mum would just bounce back. She was the most positive individual. We read these books now about being positive and affirmations. None of that was around then. She just was so positive, never cried, never got depressed. I mean, she was incredible. My dad would go to prison, we had no money. So I was working because I wanted to buy her health. It was a fruitless crusade and, a lovely one for a child. But having had my own children, obviously, who I adore, when a child has the understanding that of their own mortality, something of your childhood goes. And I think that happened to me. I was worrying constantly my whole life about my mum dry mouth out.
And you were, like you said, you know, you were working to buy her health, and actually you weren't there when she died, and it's something that you think about all the time that's had a huge impact on you.
I don't want to cry.
Oh, no, don't.
No, it's fine, because obviously, you know, I've got... My boys are just my world, but, you know, I feel... I just wanted to be there. She was there when I was born, and I wanted to be there to say goodbye. But I'm reconciled with it. And so often, there's funny stuff in the book. People might say, "Oh, the tragedies, and it was this, it's that." It's been great, though. And life isn't perfect, but it's actually been great. I said it to my eldest son. He's off working with his dad now, and I said, "Oh, James," I look back, he said, "Mum, I don't even know what you're talking about. Naples was great. You know, it was all good fun, and you know, above everything, my kids are my." You know, my pride and joy, absolutely.
Well, we'll come to that in just a second, because there's one story I did want to mention, and it's about your mum, because she does sound like a remarkably proud woman. And when you were working, and you were filming The Bluebird, I think, weren't you, Elizabeth Taylor?
Yeah.
Did Elizabeth Taylor say she wanted to come round to your house?
Yes, just because we were flying. There was a break in filming, because we were in Leningrad for a year making that film. Oh, it's St. Petersburg now, sorry. I'm 105. So what can I tell you? I apologise. So way back then, before talkies, we were doing this black and white film. We weren't really in Russia, and there's a break, and we flew back home, and she just called my mum. We're at the Dorchester, you know, come here, and Elizabeth was so so much fun. She made everything fun, but my mum said no, she can't send the car for us here. And she said, we're not going to be able to do that. But she said, well, OK, then you can fly with me tomorrow back to Finland, and then you had to get the Aeroflot flight from there. And we went on a plane, no one else on it. It was a Boeing 747, the big jumbo jet, Swiss Air.
Just you?
Just us. Just us.
That's fantastic.
And did you
used to throw her diamond at you?
She used to play
diamond question.
She used to play catch, and it was like this. It doesn't do its justice. It was huge, and I mean, so beautiful.
This is the Krupp.
And she said,
Krupp diamond. It has a name.
Yeah, the Krupp. Yeah.
Which she owns.
She used to say, "It keeps me cool." Keeps me
cool. She used to shout catch and throw it.
She'd go, "Catch, Patsy." And I'd lost my teeth during the film because
because it smashed you in the mouth.
No, because my baby teeth came out, so I had to have dentures made, and I was forever losing them. My mother was always, you know, and she thought, God, she's got that diamond ring, give it back to her. I was going, no, I like it, it's good, look, I can throw it like this.
We should point out that this is the Krupp diamond, which sold recently for £5.5 million.
Wow.
So.
But I love that playfulness in her, and she was a real... real woman, and she just... I was completely in love with her, completely.
It's a lovely story, though. It's a great story. We mentioned that we just talked briefly about, you know, the private thing, the private life. And you say in the book, it really saddens me to have failed so miserably with my boys' dads.
Yes.
It's quite a heartbreaking thing to say.
Well, it's just an honest thing, and I think that the last 4 years I left Holby, and I wanted to just devote myself entirely to my kids. Not that I hadn't, but I was always working, and it's been the happiest times, definitely, for me. And I think that, you know, I learnt so much from Jim and from Liam, and, you know, I was looking for them to replace my mother's love, and no man could do that. Maybe you could, though, Philip. I think, but it's a disservice to my mum to think that now, looking back. Sure. But you know, we're young, and it was, and you know, I believe in love. I really do, and I'm a hopeless romantic, and I think that's nothing to be ashamed of.
You've been very poorly, and it's been quite documented that you've been poorly. Just our final question now.
Yes.
How are you now?
Are you all right?
Well, yes, I had to have a hysterectomy about 2 months ago because I was getting these huge cysts. I had one removed in 2011, and then within 9 months, 2 huge ones had come back. And it wasn't, in fact, I had got pneumonia. James was about to fly off to Sicily for his job with Jim, and he said, I'm not going unless you know, get this checked out. So I rushed into hospital, and the chest guy, he was feeling me. He said, I don't really go below there normally. He said, but you've got something in your stomach, because he's a chest guy. There's something, you know, for everything. And I said, no, I had some cysts taken out, you know, last year. He said, no, go up for an MRI, and they were just huge. And so I had a hysterectomy, and I'm in full-blown menopause. My mouth's dry, the sweats, and no one talks about it. It's like, it's almost like it's Dickensian, and there's some taboo, and you're not a woman anymore. What, do you lose your lust for life because you've lost the womb. I mean, I don't know. I think, and I would love to have had people to call because it's 45 is relatively young.
Yeah, really young.
So you know,
but you're feeling okay.
I'm feeling okay, but I would think women should really not. It's a
not
big
hide from it.
adjustment.
We should come in and we should just do that as a subject.
And yeah, definitely, because someone like you talking about it would make a huge.
Well, this is absolutely.
This is the book we're talking about.
Thank you
so much.
Well, thank you.
Thank you
Love
very much.
having you.
Absolute Beginner is Patsy's book, and you are gorgeous.
Oh,
We're
stop.
back after this break. See you after the break.